have known about this and given it a pass, thereby enabling it. Those people, if they're sitting in government right now, they have forgotten who works for whom. We don't work for the government. The government works for we the people. And shame on the people who have enabled this fraud, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, independents, or whatever. There is no reason, and there is, as people think about it across this country and around the world, there isn't a reasonable group of people who is in favor of using a charity to steal money from desperately poor, afflicted people around the world so that you can live in a fancy penthouse apartment in Little Rock, in presidential suites, and fly in private jets, and have your daughter have a fancy wedding. Nobody is in favor of that.
Now, there's I'm sorry. Is there one more? Because I don't want to ruin this rhythm of thunder that you are producing.
Well, yeah. So there is another thing. You know, I took this, and thank you for giving me a platform on your podcast. A lot of people watch this, and I really appreciate being given this chance. What I've been doing with my free time is reaching out to anybody who would listen. And finally now, multiple foreign governments have been on this case. So it is not simply up to Donald Trump. It's not simply up to Sessions. It's not simply up to our IRS who've been dragging their feet. Multiple foreign governments are focused now upon this, and in particular because the great Chuck Grassley, Senator Grassley, announced, I guess 2 days ago or whenever it was, that he is indeed looking at this. Now, because of that, and because the public record says the IRS has been looking at this since last summer, thanks to Marsha Blackburn, and because Cheryl Atkinson's book, I think on page 242, says that 4 FBI field offices have been looking at this. The New York Times has known about this since August of last year, and they spiked the New York Times. Whatever you pronounce his last name, is it Baquet or Backett?
Dean Baquet, right, who is now under fire from Mr. O'Keefe in Project Veritas, who has his own problems. But I'm shocked by that. The New York Times, the old great lady, all the news that's fit to print. I'm shocked.
Right, but so now the foreign governments, multiple foreign governments have looked at this. I cannot say who, but I can tell you it's many more than one. And they are looking at this and they're saying, wait a minute, this has been a fraud and we want our money back. And there are a lot of people around this fraud who have hundreds of billions of dollars locked in foundations, which the IRS could go after now, and which Donald Trump and the team in Congress could use this one chip, which is entirely in their purview, to say, we want to do. And I call now in this broadcast for just like the Pecora Commission after the crash of 1929-33. I call on Congress, the House, the Senate. I call on the President to let's bring regulation of charities across the board into the 21st century. Let's use the tools that are out there to match the disclosures in something like the Clinton Foundation with the disclosures that are public of the donors and cross-check it. And let's see all the areas in which these crooked charities have been using the cover of their supposed good works to instead enrich cronies, enrich mistresses, enrich friends, pay off politicians, line their own pockets, and sully the good name of so many Americans who reach into their pockets not to write $1 million checks, but to send $5 or $20, thinking that a charity like the Clinton Foundation is actually doing good works. Who would imagine that a former president, as smart, I'll give Bill credit, he is very smart, as Bill Clinton, not so sure about Hillary based on her recent experience. But, you know, the two of them and their daughter with a PhD, who would imagine that that group would go out and abuse a charity to line their own pockets and further their supposed political advantages? Who would imagine?
Now,